Hello, everybody. Welcome to the CACHET Virtual College Fair. We've got an exciting session today. Before we begin, we're going to go through a couple housekeeping items. Note that if you have questions, you can use the Q&A button to type your question to the presenter at any time. Also note that your micro and camera are in the off position, so you're muted and your video is off. Note that the panelists can't see or hear you. Please be aware as well that there are additional sessions available on the StriveScan website. So if you have interest in one of those, go ahead and sign up at your leisure. Finally, note that the recording will be available for this session on the StriveScan website at strivescan.com/cache. With those housekeeping items taken care of, we'll turn it over to our presenters from Syracuse University.
All right, thanks so much, Dave. Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Hoster. I am a staff member in the admissions office for the College of Engineering and Computer Science here at Syracuse University. I'm very grateful to be joined by two of our students today who are going to talk to you about some of their experiences as we go through our presentation. So I think what I'll do is turn the microphone over to them for introductions. So Fiona, take it away.
Hi, my name is Fiona. I'm technically a sophomore studying environmental engineering, and I'm from New York City.
Thanks so much. Kendra.
Hi, I'm Kendra. I'm a freshman here studying aerospace engineering, and I'm from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
All right. Kathleen, do you want to do intro?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kathleen Joyce. I work with Jonathan Hoster in the admissions office in the College of Engineering and Computer Science, and always happy to be here and to represent our programs and to help answer questions. And thank you all so much.
Okay, so give me just a second to get our slides ready to go here. Okay. So I always like to start with this shot of campus. It looks a little different now because the stadium just got a new roof, but it's still a really nice a view of the quad. So most of the academic buildings where you would have classes at Syracuse are right here around the quad. So I can see the math building and the physics building. This was taken from the vantage point of one of our engineering buildings. So everything's pretty easy to get to around the Syracuse campus. The residence halls are 360 degrees basically around the quad. So whatever residence hall you might live in as a Syracuse student, the walk from your residence hall to your classes is 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. So it's pretty easy to get around. These are some fun facts that we like to share about the College of Engineering and Computer Science. We are really proud of the things that our students are doing while they're students here, and really proud of the things they're doing upon graduation. And so you can see some of the statistics here about job and grad school placement and average starting salary. And we're going to talk more as we go through the presentation in terms of how we support students in regard to their endeavors or future plans. We have about 1,300 students within the College of Engineering and Computer Science at the undergraduate level, which makes for a really close-knit environment. Students really get to know each other. They work together. It's a very collaborative environment as opposed to a competitive environment. And really everybody here, our students, the faculty, the staff, are here to support each other's success and to support our students' success. So these are all the majors that we offer within engineering and computer science. The bold headings that you see here are the different departments we have within the college, and then you can see all the majors. So these are all great choices. You can't make a bad choice. I always say whatever one of these you might pick is going to lead to really great opportunities. So all of the engineering and comp sci majors at Syracuse are accredited by ABET, which you can see in the upper left here, and that's an important validation of a degree in engineering and computer science. So I'm going to turn back to our students, and so they can shout out their major. So Fiona and Kendra, maybe you could talk about, why you picked your major, or like a fun class or project you've done to give a highlight, and just remind us what you're studying too. So Kendra, let's start with you this time.
Sure. So I'm in aerospace engineering, and I'm only a freshman, so I haven't really had a lot of engineering classes yet. But right now I'm taking a really cool class that's about just some different programs that we use. So we're learning about Excel and MATLAB right now, if anyone's familiar with those. And so my first semester, I took another very cool class that was just a basic introduction to everything that we'll learn in aerospace. So my favorite project was at the very end of the school year, or I guess the semester, we had to build a Mars rover So usually you would get to like actually physically build it with Legos, but this semester, that semester, since everything was virtual, we just learned how to use MLCAD to do the same thing. So it was really cool.
Okay, Fiona, tell us something fun about your major.
So I'm in environmental engineering, and I chose that because I think it's a nice blend of engineering, like trying to create solutions for problems, and then also getting the side of like the more humanities side where like you're talking more about like the environment and like the issues going on. And I work like a lot with civil engineering because like we're in the same department. So like we do stuff like building bridges, and that's something I did for freshman year. And yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you both so much. Another great way to get to know the opportunities at Syracuse is to get to know some of our alumni. And so just going to introduce you to some of them on the next couple slides. Enla and Anibal represent environmental and civil engineering. Enla graduated with her bachelor's in environmental engineering. She's working as a project engineer at Jacob. She's based in Richmond, Virginia. Anibal got his degree at Syracuse in civil engineering, and he is an engineer at Dragados, USA. He's based in Southern California. East of LA. Can't really go far west of LA. And we have Avery and Chelsea representing biomedical and chemical engineering. Avery did what's called the 4+1 program. So he got his bachelor's and master's in engineering here at Syracuse in bioengineering, which we also call biomedical engineering. And he works at GlaxoSmithKline, based in Maryland. And Chelsea got her degree last year in chemical engineering, and she works at Procter & Gamble, and she's based in the Boston area. And then we have Christina, Andrew, and Paul representing computer science, computer engineering, and electrical engineering. Christina is a software engineer at Microsoft outside Seattle. Andrew works at Accenture in as an advanced app engineering senior analyst. He got his bachelor's in computer science. And Paul is based in New Jersey. He got his degree in electrical engineering at Syracuse, and he's a systems engineer at BAE Systems. And then we have Dahlia and Eric. Dahlia got her bachelor's in aerospace engineering at Syracuse. She's a structures engineer at Virgin Orbit, which is a rocket company in Southern California. And Eric is got his degree in mechanical engineering, and he's a systems engineer at General Dynamics Electric Boat. He works on nuclear submarines, which I think sounds pretty cool. This is just another great picture of the Syracuse campus that we like to share, and you can see there the new roof on our stadium. So this is a little updated than the other picture we had earlier. So I am going to toss the microphone over to my colleague Kathleen now to talk about some other academic opportunities. So Kathleen, take it away.
Sure, Jonathan, thank you so much. So thanks again, everyone. And as we've been mentioning, Syracuse University is a comprehensive university. But I think what we love so much about it is that we have a close-knit, supportive College of Engineering and Computer Science set within the broader university that really allows students to be able to take advantage of other academic areas in addition to their interests in engineering or computer science. One of the ways that students will often do that is through a minor. So a minor is a set of 6 courses, and each of our programs is flexible enough to allow you to accommodate at least one minor in addition to your major. And there are over 100 minors, everything ranging from art to music to philosophy and politics, just so much range and breadth in those options. What you see here, the slide that's here, this shows some that tend to be a little more popular among the engineering computer science group. But again, you're not limited to just these. And again, any program is flexible enough to accommodate your interest in a minor. Next slide, please. We have great options at Syracuse to really accelerate and to multiply the impact of your degree. And one thing that I really like about these is that you do not have to apply for these coming in as a new student, as a freshman. So to give you some idea about these, we list 2 of them here, the 4+1 BS-MS option, which Jonathan just mentioned, one of our alumni, a graduate of that. What that program is, it allows you over the course of 5 years to earn both your bachelor degree in an area of engineering plus your master's degree And that's a very accelerated to do that. Oftentimes graduate master's programs can be at least 2 years to finish. So we set this up to really allow you, again, to have the excellence of the master's degree in just that one additional year. There's very good financial aid for that 5th year, and we really facilitate the admission into that program for our students. We also, Syracuse has one of the top ranked business schools in the United States on campus, the Whitman School. We have a program with them. It is the BS MBA degree program. That is a very powerful combination for students who are interested not only in engineering and computer science technical expertise, but also more of the business end of things, entrepreneurship, supply chain. So if you're interested, we have great options for you to pursue them. Next slide, please. One of my favorite slides, simply because it represents a program that has so much energy and so much great potential and a real strong creative outlet for students. It's called Invent at SU. This is a 6-week summer program where students will learn over the course of 6 weeks to become an inventor. They will not only learn all of the sort of tips and insider aspects of that, but we'll actually finish the program with a working prototype of a product idea. And the young man that you see here in front of us, Russell Farron, he's actually a student in the 4+1 MS program in mechanical engineering. He is a successful graduate of the Invent at SU program. He and his teammate invented the device he's holding. It's called the SUGEX, which was a wearable device that is used to help individuals measure and test their blood glucose levels. So Russell and his, as I said, his partner, they participated, they came up with this design idea. Later, after the program, they competed in some very prestigious, high visibility competitions, including one sponsored by the American Heart Association, where they finished first. They earned a capital startup of $50,000 for their product, plus $5,000 as the fan favorite. So this is just one example. There's tremendous support on campus for student creativity, student entrepreneurship. We have a resource known as the Launchpad at syr.edu. That is a place that helps to connect you to these opportunities on the campus. Next slide, please. So just to give you a brief snippet of student life, and then before I go on, I want to really thank Fiona and Kendra so very, very much for being here. Who can tell you better what it's like to be a student than students, and we appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Thank you both. For one of the, I think, most exciting things about being a new student at Syracuse in engineering computer science is the opportunity right away to get involved with the college. And one of the ways we do that is through ECS 101. That is our intro to engineering computer science that you take in your first semester. And there's a section of that course for each of the engineering majors that we described earlier. And there is also an undecided section. And those sections all strive to help introduce students to engineering problem solving, engineering analysis, as well as teamwork and collaboration. So you see some of the examples of that here, and there's usually a hands-on project of some type in the ECS 101. The top slide, you'll notice that that's a group of civil engineers, so they traditionally do some type of a bridge structure. The slide at the bottom is a cantilever type of a project, more than likely a mechanical engineering type of group. And the gentleman wearing the orange tie and orange shirt, that's actually the dean of the college, Dr. Cole Smith. He taught a section of the freshman ECS 101. So there's a really great excitement, a lot of interest, and a lot of importance attached to this first course, as it's really your pathway into your major. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk a little bit briefly about our student clubs and organizations. It's a very vibrant community where we really want you to excel in your studies, but we also really encourage our students to take advantage of the community, of the resources, and of the community, the amazing diverse community of students. And what you see here, these are a couple of the examples. We have over 20 different student clubs and organizations within the college, everything ranging from professional student chapters of professional engineering societies, as well as affinity groups. So just a few I'll mention to you here. You'll see the list of them here. So the last slide, you saw one of the pictures was of our Formula SAE race car team. That is a team that is open to students from all the disciplines actually, and really all that's required for that is an enthusiasm and an interest in being involved in a very hands-on automotive type of project. Another, I mentioned the previous slide, there was a slide with a group of students. That is one of our affinity groups that happened to be the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers at their national convention. So when you're part of a society, you're not only connected to your peers at Syracuse, but you also have the opportunity to interact and connect with your peers from across, from across the United States. And the last one that I'll mention is down at the bottom. That is a picture of a few of our students who are part of what is called CUSE Hacks. That is a student-run hackathon. This year, due to COVID, the hackathon had to be completely virtual, but there was a silver lining in that they had participants from all across the world. And this is completely student-run. They had great prizes, a 24-hour hackathon that's focused around solving a critical social need. And so it's not just, again, the technical, but really applying it to helping to make the world a better place. So next slide. And I love, this is one of my favorite slides. Of course, this is our very lovable and very, very energetic student mascot, Otto. And he is not only a lot of fun, but he's also a great ambassador for the many, many ways that students can be involved in the life of the campus, whether that's as a spectator in a sport, playing sports, or even being Otto. So we all had a kind of a thrill, I have to say, this past week where we found out that one of our top seniors, college marshal for the class of 2021, told us that, so the identity of Otto is actually it's secret, right? So nobody knows who Otto is. We found out that she was one of the students who played Otto this whole time. And I had to laugh because I said there'd be times where I'll be in someplace and it always seemed like Otto knew who I was. Well, I guess Otto did know who I was, but again, just a symbol of the school pride and kind of the joy, I think that is very, very visible and evident on the Syracuse campus. Next slide. And another couple of slides just again to show you the level of involvement that students can have. And really, again, as a graduate of Syracuse, I can speak so well about the loyalty and kind of the spirit, the school spirit that's part of everything we seem to do at Syracuse. Music is always a strong interest of students in engineering and computer science. There's a very significant portion of the Syracuse marching band that is made up of students from the engineering school, students who are interested in music. So you see some slides of that. The slide with the young man, Akulam, he is a senior in computer engineering. He is also a member of the Syracuse Spirit Squad. And that's an unbelievable kind of high energy sort of activity. And is again, someone that's really very, very involved in his major, does research, and also has a lot of pride for Syracuse on the field. Next slide. We have a lot of tremendous facilities on campus, and it's actually been an amazing time, actually, as challenging as it's been for everyone, the pandemic. There's been a great deal of growth on the campus, several new facilities. One that you're seeing some images of here is a state-of-the-art recreation and wellness center called the Barnes Center at the Arch. So they basically took one of the oldest gym on campus and completely rebuilt it and revitalized it to be state-of-the-art for working out. You can see some of the examples here. There's a swimming pool, there's a soccer court, all inside. Beautiful cardio rooms. There's a climbing wall, as you can see. There's a room for esports for that's open 24/7, and one of our favorite that we love to talk about. I think I was thinking about it today. I don't know why. I think everyone should be a dog owner. I'm not. They seem to just bring joy. but there is actually a pet therapy room where every so often, I think once a week, the local Humane Association brings in service dogs that the students can spend time with and that can play with and relax with. And I know that that brings, again, a lot of connection between the students and the pets, who bring a lot of joy. Study abroad. So Syracuse is not only a very encouraging place to promote study abroad, but is actually a leader globally as far as hosting and promoting and encouraging and providing structure and support for students who may wish to study abroad. We really encourage it among our engineering students, and we have programs that are set up specifically to line up with your engineering computer science degree and allow you that truly once in a lifetime experience to be able to study in another country, in another city, foreign city, and to remain on track with your graduation plans. I just can never get over the pictures that the students send us from their experiences, and you can see a few of them here. They not only will, so some of the locations where students can study include Dublin, Ireland, Strasbourg, France, Florence, Italy. The map here will point some of these out to you. And I think aside from that experience of being able to study abroad, they really get to travel during their breaks. And so it truly, truly can be a very seamless experience as far as your academics, but also an unforgettable once in a lifetime time of opportunity to get that kind of international experience. Next slide, please. So I'm going to just talk about research and then Jonathan will finish up, but the University Syracuse is called a R1, Research 1 Comprehensive University. And what that means is that is a ranking of universities based on research output and research productivity. And that's very important, both in terms of the innovation that is happening in our classrooms as well as in the research labs, but also in the opportunity that students have for hands-on experience to really get involved in challenging kinds of work, and that is work that is also making a big difference. So again, you'll see some really good examples here of students who are deeply involved in research. I'll just mention one, the young man with the kind of the blue glove and the safety glasses, that is Seth Reed. He's a senior in chemical engineering. Seth has been doing research since he was a freshman, and as a freshman, he wasn't sure what kind of research he wanted to get involved with, but he had an experience where he knew he wanted to get involved in energy, in helping to conserve and to be more energy efficient. His work developed to where he is now, really a growing expert in the field of battery consumption, and developing new types of household batteries that are far less damaging to the environment and that also have a more sustainable life cycle. So we hope this was helpful. Jonathan is going to take it from here. Thank you all so much for being part of our program.
All right, thanks, Kathleen. A few more things to share with you, and then we'll be really excited to hear your questions. So please use the Q&A function that you see on your screen to send us questions for our staff or for our students, and we'll be really excited to hear what's on your mind. One of the things that's really important to us is supporting our students' success, and there's a lot of things we do with that goal in mind. And so one of those is our advising structure. So as an engineering or computer science student at Syracuse University, you'll have 3 advisors assigned to you right from the beginning: a success advisor, a faculty advisor, and a career advisor who will follow you through your 4-year career. I also like to give a shout out from this slide to the engineering and computer science living learning community. It's a really great choice for freshman year housing because you'll be surrounded by 180, maybe close to 200 other freshmen who are also studying computer science or engineering, taking a lot of the same classes that you are, which makes it really logistically easy to do homework together and study together, and very helpful to get off to a good start academically as a freshman. So I want to move on and talk a little more about career services. So I mentioned that you'll have a career advisor assigned to you right away. We're very, very proud of the success of our students and our alumni. Here are 2 stories, and I'll show you another one on the next page. Marielle, who graduated last year, works at Microsoft. She's a software engineer. She's based at their campus outside Seattle. She graduated from our computer science program. And then on the right, you see Jamila, who graduated from our biomedical engineering program in 2019. She works for GE Healthcare, and she's based in Wisconsin. A year ago, she was very involved in the production of ventilators that GE Healthcare, as well as many other companies, were ramping up productions for our frontline, excuse me, frontline healthcare workers. Another great story is Kayla Simon, who graduated in 2019. She's on the right side of this picture. She works for a rocket company called Virgin Orbit in Southern California. And this is a picture at her work location with a really famous guy in the middle, Richard Branson, who you might recognize, who is in charge of the Virgin Group, which includes this company, Virgin Orbit. One of the great things that our career advisors do for students is take them on immersion trips during school breaks, like during winter break or during spring break. Haven't been able to do this for the past year, of course, due to the pandemic, but hopefully we'll be able to start this up again soon. But this is a group recently who visited Silicon Valley companies during their spring break. Here they are on the Google campus. They also went to Microsoft, Airbnb, Intel, I think about 8 or 10 companies over the course of a week, visiting companies there in Silicon Valley in Northern California. I think the coolest thing about this is that they were hosted by Syracuse computer science and engineering alumni at all of those companies that they visited. So we talk about the Orange family and being part of the Syracuse community. Alumni love giving back to the school and supporting students, and I think that's a great example of that. This is a very comprehensive list of places where our students are doing internships, co-ops, where our alumni are working. So it's not an exhaustive list, but I think it's a very comprehensive list from across the 9 disciplines that we prepare students for within the world of computer science and engineering. Some really great examples of companies where they're working. So I mentioned we have an engineering and computer science career fair every semester, plus lots of other days that companies dedicate to recruit our students. And again, you'll be matched up as a student here with a career advisor in your major right from day one, who will support you connecting with your career goals. So the large number of our students go directly into industry at these companies as well as others. I would say about 3/4 do that. We have several percentage of students each year that go directly into the military through our ROTC programs from Army and Air Force, or the 2 ROTC programs we have here, and they commission as officers. And then I would say about 20% or so of our students go directly into graduate school right from their undergraduate program. These are some fun photos from recent graduation celebrations. And I just want to give you a couple tips about the application process before we get to your questions. So for those of you who are high school sophomores or juniors and thinking about applying in a year or two, Syracuse University uses the Common Application. So that's how you would apply. If you're applying to engineering and computer science majors, certainly we're very interested in your math and science background. So things like pre-calculus, as well as calculus, if you have a chance to take that in high school. Sciences such as chemistry and physics, we think are very important. And when you think about teacher recommendations, it's nice to have, well, I should say we require 2 recommendations from teachers, and it's nice to have at least one of those from a math or science teacher. I can tell you that if you're currently a high school junior graduating in 2022 and going to apply to college for 2022, we are test optional, which means you don't have to submit the SAT or the ACT testing. And if you don't submit those scores, there's no disadvantage with regard to being considered for admission or with regard to being considered for merit scholarships. One more thing I'll say here is that there is a lot of financial aid available, but students do need to apply for financial aid. So the deadline for everything for us is January 1st of your senior year. So the Common Application would need to be in by January 1st of your senior year. And the 2 financial aid forms that you see cited here, the FAFSA and the CSS profile, also due by January 1st of your senior year to apply for financial aid. And then the last point we wanted to share is a little bit about scholarships. So this is not everything about scholarships. This is just a couple examples. We're really proud of the partnerships we have with organizations like ACE Mentor, FIRST, and Project Lead the Way. So if you're involved in any of those and you're currently a sophomore or junior in high school, we can give you a link that you can fill out basically just to tag your record on our system. So when you apply, we know you're part of those organizations because we do earmark scholarships for students that are engaged in those organizations, but those are the exception to the rule. The large majority of scholarships we offer do not have any special caveat like that, and everybody who applies for admission will be considered for scholarships. The last thing I'll note on this page is Raise Me. You might see the blue logo in the upper right corner of your screen. Raise Me is an organization that Syracuse, as well as lots of other universities, partner with. So you could go to raise.me. There's no .com, it's just raise.me. And you can set up an account on there if you're currently a sophomore or junior in high school, and it will translate your academic as well as non-academic accomplishments from high school into what that could look like in terms of a scholarship at Syracuse, as well as other universities that partner with Raise Me. So we have about 15 minutes for questions right now, so please send them to us via the Q&A function on your screen. But I just wanted to give you my contact information as well as Kathleen's. So if you do have any questions after today, you have an easy way to find us. So if you want to take a quick screenshot or a picture of our email addresses, go ahead and do that now. And then we are going to move into Q&A. So if you have questions for me or Kathleen, or for our students, Kendra and Fiona, please send those to us via the Q&A box, so we can hear what's on your mind. So we do have a question asking about financial aid in terms of, the question said, how much do you provide in aid? It really depends on a student's financial need, or a family's financial need, as determined via the FAFSA and the CSS profile. So you submit those two forms, and our financial aid office determines what your expected family contribution is, and then figures out the difference between the cost of attendance and what you can afford, and then that's where they'll help with financial aid. And then, of course, another important part of what helps some people pay for college is merit scholarships, and that's determined based on the student's application without regard to family financial information. So, okay, I don't see any other questions coming in yet, but please use the Q&A button to send us some more questions. I have some good questions, though, to send to Fiona and Kendra. So I think it might be helpful if you all could give some advice to the students that are tuning in about the transition from high school to college, you know, academically or otherwise. Like, what advice would you give them in terms of doing that successfully?
I can go first. So I think it was really, really helpful to be in a living situation with all the other like ACS students, because I like easily made friends, and as you mentioned before, like just taking the same classes and just being in the same area and like struggling with the same things, like it was so much easier. Just like walk out and be like, hey, does anyone know how to do this like calculus problem? And I think that like really fosters a great community for years to come, especially if you're staying within ECS.
My biggest piece of advice is probably just don't be afraid to ask for help. It's kind of scary sometimes talking to your professors. I know that was something I was a little bit intimidated by first semester, just because it's a new situation. But there's a lot of people at Syracuse, your professors and advisors, and really anyone else, like other students or, you know, other people that are just working for the university that are willing to help you if you need it. So.
Cool. Thank you both. Great advice. I see we have another question that came in about merit scholarships. So absolutely, we have a number of merit scholarship opportunities, and students will be considered for merit scholarships based on their application. So there's no additional application for that. The only exception would be that if you're involved with Project Lead the Way, FIRST Robotics, or ACE Mentor, we just do have a form that we ask students to fill out so we know that they're involved with those organizations. It's not an application, it's just a form that tags their record that they are involved in those things. So, but yes, everybody's considered for merit scholarships by virtue of applying for admission. I put a link in the chat to some really fun videos. Each of the videos on that page are just about, I want to say 3 or so minutes long. So they're pretty easy to watch, and there's students given tours of various engineering labs, including our student machine shop. The beginning part of every one of those videos is the same. It's me saying the same thing, but just fast forward through that 30-second intro that I do on the videos, and you'll notice that it's different. The content is different in each one of those. So I think that might be very helpful for you. So let's go back to, let's see if we have any more questions popping in here. Okay, great. We have a question that says, how would you describe the learning process? Is it more hands-on and building, or more study and academic based? So I definitely think it covers both of those things, but Kendra and Fiona, how would you say the balance between the sort of theory kinds of classes and hands-on kind of classes has been for you so far?
I can go first. So like I said, I'm only a freshman. So far I haven't really had a ton of different engineering classes. So honestly, my first semester was more study based, just because I'm trying to get my general requirements out of the way. But my engineering classes so far have been very hands-on. We're usually just given some basic information, and then we get the opportunity to actually like work with the programs that we're learning about, alongside with help from the professors as well. So
Yeah, so kind of just going off that, definitely like as you move throughout the semesters and throughout your years, you're gonna have more focused classes on engineering, and they're definitely more intensive and like hands-on. I know that different like majors have different things. So like aerospace and mechanical work a lot more with like machine shop and 3D like stuff like that. And then civil and environmental engineers, we do a lot of like research based classes.
Yeah, I think so. It's to your question, I think it's really important to have the theoretical foundation so that you can apply that to more complicated applications. So for instance, also getting involved with some of the clubs we talked about earlier, I think is really helpful. So I talked to some students that are really interested in automotive, for instance. Well, they won't take an automotive elective till they're an upperclassman, but they can get involved with one of our car teams right from day one. And if they already have experience with cars, great, hit the ground running, but they don't necessarily have to have experience with cars. What they have to have is just interest in it and willingness to put in the time to learn. And if they're willing to put in that time, then the upperclassmen on the team will take them under their wing and teach them stuff that will be useful to the student and then also useful to the team. And for instance, using the race car team as an example, they always take a couple freshmen every year to their competition. Usually those couple freshmen that get really involved and put in a lot of time to the team over their first year. So. Okay, if anybody has additional questions, please send them to us via the Q&A box. We'll be happy to take them. We have a few more minutes left in the session. I also wanted to give a shout out to another thing I just posted in the chat. It is a link to our virtual events on our website. We actually have over the next couple weeks, a number of our computer science and engineering professors are hosting sample classes for high school students. So if you go to that link in the chat, just scroll down a little bit to where it says mock classes, and you'll see there's 7 or 8 options there. We have one on aerospace tomorrow night. We have one on computer science on Thursday this week, and a number coming up over the next few weeks. We encourage you to just click any of the links there, and you'll see a description of the class and the registration form. So, all right. If there are any other questions, please send them to us, again, via the Q&A box. But while we're waiting for other questions to come in, why don't we talk a little bit about what we do for fun. I think sometimes there is a thought that, engineers are working so hard, there's no time for anything else. But I think time management is important. And I think while engineers do have to work very hard, I think it's healthy and important to give your engineering brain a little break once in a while and do other things you like to do. So Fiona and Kendra, could you give some voice to that about maybe clubs outside your major you're involved in, or just kind of more generally, like what you do for fun, which I know this year due to pandemic has been a little different.
Yeah, I can go first. So outside of engineering, I also just joined one of our social sororities on campus. There's a lot to do with Greek life on campus, and there's an engineering sorority, I believe, as well, right? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and then I'm not in a lot of other clubs, but just as a side note, you can get involved in basically any club on campus that you want to. I know a lot of my friends that are in clubs that have nothing to do with their majors. And there's also a lot of clubs that do have things to do with your major. So yeah. But then also with the weather getting a little bit warmer, I've started to be able to explore like the beautiful area around Syracuse. I mean, even though it is a city, there is some really beautiful scenery like just outside of it. So if you like to be outside, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, that's definitely something that attracted me to Syracuse. Just like the area is so nice. Like being from New York City, I don't get like a lot of scenery and stuff. So being around here, going to like Green Lake State Park is like super fun. I love exploring, just even like there's a whole bunch of restaurants around us that are like top notch. And I'm involved with clubs like Service Dogs at Syracuse. So I was raising a service dog for like a year and a half. And she actually just went back to the organization and she's doing really well. And I like to volunteer again, like I said. So I'm really into like sustainability on campus and like redistributing the food that doesn't always like get consumed by people in the dining halls to like neighboring organizations that need it. So yeah.
Great. All right. So maybe we could talk a little bit about Fiona and Kendra, when you were doing your college search. Maybe if you could talk about how you picked Syracuse when you were doing your college search, and maybe also talk about how you decided what major to do as well.
I would say that the main thing that attracted me to Syracuse was just the community that I could already feel before I even committed to the school. How everyone, all of the current students and all the advisors and everything were just so eager to reach back and help someone else to have the same amazing college experience that they've had at Syracuse. So that just made me super excited to go here, because even though it's a big school, there's a lot of tiny individual communities within it. And there's also a greater community like through the whole university. So I thought that was pretty cool. But on the note of why I picked my major, I've always kind of like been really into like the idea of working for the government. But I also have been super into space my whole life. So it's been a dream of mine to work for NASA for like a long time. So I'm just kind of going for it.
I picked Syracuse because of the location. I just really like the campus vibes and like everything around it. I also like am a person of color, and you know, like Syracuse is really like adamant on getting females in STEM. And I just wanted to like add to the diversity of the campus that's going on. And yeah.
All right. Any other final thoughts or words of advice from Kathleen or Kendra or Fiona before we wrap up?
I'd just love to just say thank you again, but also to the students who are participating tonight, how appreciative we are and how awesome we think it is that you're thinking about engineering and computer science. These are challenging times in the world, and there's so much potential for engineering and computer science innovation and solutions. So we think we'd love to see all of you at Syracuse, but if you're thinking about it and you're working in that direction, keep it up, because truly the world needs you, and we would love to have you at Syracuse. And again, Fiona and Kendra, I can't wait to meet you in person. You make us so proud. Thank you for sharing your great insight and perspectives. And Jonathan, as always, you're the best quarterback out there. So thank you for bringing us here and leading us to the finish line tonight.
Thanks, Kathleen. Kendra, Fiona, any other final words you want to share before we go?
I'll just say, like, congratulations on, you know, making the decision to go through the college process. I know it's really scary, but it's going to be okay. So just keep going. You got it.
Yeah, if Syracuse isn't like where you're going to go, then just good luck in your college endeavors.
All right. Thanks so much, Kathleen, for co-hosting, and thanks so much, Fiona and Kendra, for co-hosting. We're really proud of you and very grateful for your time tonight. And we'll wrap it up and send it back over to Dave, our facilitator.
Thank you so much. This will finish up the fair for today. I just want to thank everyone for participating. Note, we do have a quick survey available on the session. So if you have time, please go ahead and fill that out. Also note that the StriveScan website has additional sessions available for other institutions if you'd like to sign up for those. And then finally, a recording of this session will be available at strivescan.com/cache. Hope everyone has a great evening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.